Hello, welcome to Workplace Wake Up. I'm Jen Shaw. Every week, I spend about 15 minutes covering legal developments, introducing you to interesting guests, and providing some entertainment to start your workday. We have a nice topic for our chat during the podcast today. We are going to talk about praise programs. Now, I know for some of you, you might think, oh yeah, that's employee recognition, or that's what we do to make sure we can recruit the best and the brightest, or retain the best and the brightest. Employee recognition is very important, of course, but it's usually on a grander scale. When we're talking about these praise programs, the thing that's unique about them is they're more limited in fanciness, if you will. So we're not talking about an annual birthday bonus or an annual holiday gift basket. We're talking about something you do regularly, periodically, that the employee can count on. And let me tell you why. There are some really interesting studies about this, that when an employee has something to look forward to in terms of praise, it gives them really positive feelings about the workplace. They work harder. They anticipate what you're going to be giving them, and it doesn't have to cost a dime. I don't mean giving like a gift card or a present. It can be something very small, just a please and thank you, right? Or how was your weekend? I think for some of us, when we talk about employee recognition or praise programs, we think it has to be something that's very detailed, that's elaborate, that costs a lot of money. No, not at all. It's really about being connected to your team. So when we talk about an effective praise program, it's something where every Monday your team knows you're going to ask how their weekend was, right? And they look forward to that. And they may even start thinking about it on the weekend. Oh yeah, Jen's going to ask me how my weekend was. I can't wait to tell her about X or Y. Now, I know this sounds maybe frivolous to some of you, and I would understand that because we're all busy. We got a lot going on. But I'm here to tell you the statistics are crazy in terms of how much this type of interaction really improves the work culture, even if you've already got a great work culture. So the praise program idea is to do something almost automated. And I don't mean automated like we have some chat bot do it, but automated from the perspective of they can count on it. The employee knows that if they're entitled to it, it's going to come, right? And it could be something as simple as, I just want to let you know that you've been working really hard these last couple of weeks, and I noticed. I know what you're doing, and I really appreciate it, and I brought you this bagel. Or I picked a rose from my garden, and I thought you might like it on your desk. Just really simple stuff. And folks, this is becoming more and more important as we are, many of us, finding it is next to impossible to hire people. People are not moving right now. People have left the job force. It is really hard to find qualified candidates for positions. So if you can have a program like a praise program that really creates that cultural feeling in the workplace that, hey, management cares about me, HR cares about me, it just is such a great investment in the health of your organization. So it doesn't matter what you feel if you don't communicate it. So it reminds me of, I forgot some movie I saw at one point where the wife says to the husband, "You never say you love me." And he says, "I'm here, aren't I?" Oh, sigh. Okay. Yes, you're here. But it would be great if you would communicate that, right? And our employees feel the same way. Take the 10 seconds it takes to say good morning. By the way, great job on that document yesterday. Thank you so much for getting X done for me on time. I really appreciate it. It takes time. It takes effort. But as we've talked about so many times on this podcast, it is so incredibly worth it. Because when you've got a team that is excited and dedicated and motivated, they will always do better work for you. Now, you know how you have little cards that you can put in your kids' lunch? So I've had them for Ella since she went to nursery school. And they've changed over the years because she's now a teenager, which I cannot believe. But they're always something nice, like have a good day, or I'm proud of the homework you did, whatever. And I always sign it in writing, in it with a pen, and tell her I love her and have a great day. Now, I could just text her. I could just tell her as we're driving to school, and I do. But I love the idea of her opening up her little lunch or her snack box, and she's got a note. It literally takes me 30 seconds. When I run out of them, I have to order more. So that's a little bit of effort. But it's really fun. So now that she's older, she'll write back to me on the card. And then I'll get the card back in the lunch. So little things like that, depending on your culture, depending on where you work and what you do, obviously this is not going to be appropriate for everywhere. But something like that, something simple, like once a month you bring in flowers for the office. You don't have to give them to everybody. You just put a big bouquet of flowers on the counter and you say, okay, I wanted to bring in these flowers to thank all of you for great work this week. Just something small. And I really think with everything that's going on in the universe right now, it's easy to not do these things. It's easy to think people don't care because they won't always acknowledge. They won't always say thank you. They won't always appear to feel good about what you've done. But do it because you know it's the right thing. Okay, do it because you want to show your team that they care. There is a business case for this, folks. You will have more productive employees. You will have happier clients, customers, vendors, patients. So think about doing something automated, something that you have as a routine. All right. And I don't mean automated like, Chat GPT, but I mean automated like, okay, I have on my calendar every Monday that I'm going to bring flowers, or I have on my calendar that every third Thursday I'm going to order lunch, and I'm going to tell everyone that they can order their lunch too, or maybe I'll pay if I'm in the private sector. Public sector, it's hard to ask anyone to do that. But at least you go to the same room and you talk. How's everything going? We have Wednesdays in our firm that we call family lunch. And I order lunch, and even people who are from outside of the office, who don't come in the office most of the time, they'll come for family lunch. So Julia, one of our lawyers who many of you have worked with, she's amazing. She's been with us for years. She actually lives out of state. And she does a ton of work with our clients. She's amazing. She's coming to Sacramento very soon in the next week or so. And we're going to make sure she's here on a Wednesday so we can do family lunch. And it's not costing very much money. And people really like it. They've told me, please don't ever cancel family lunch. We can even brown bag it, Jen, but we want to be there. So I think it's important to really think about what kind of praise will work for your employees. And by the way, it may be different for different generations, for different backgrounds, for people of different cultures. You got to be creative about this. But honestly, the work you put into it will more than pay off. So think today. Don't let another day go by. Take 10 minutes when you get back to the office and think about, okay, who's on my team? What makes them tick? What can I do? Like I said, it doesn't have to cost money. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, but we want it to be something that the people you're doing it for think it's important, right? They value it. So if you're somebody who's very busy and you actually take the time to stop by their cubicle and say, hey, I just wanted to check in with you. We haven't talked in a few days. How's everything going? That will mean the world to most people. And if you've got a grumpy Gus who doesn't want you to stop by their cubicle, that's fine. Skip them. But most people, most of your team is going to like this. And there are so many articles now on these praise programs that I think are just fascinating in terms of how much people look forward to the praise they're going to get because it's on a routine sort of cycle. So they can anticipate it. And you know how it is when you know a present is coming and you're excited and you're wondering what it is. that's the kind of feeling that people have reported in surveys on these praise programs, that they actually start to look forward to it. They like praise when it's a surprise, but that idea of anticipation and thinking about it and looking for it and wondering what it's going to be, it matters. So this is different than a bonus on somebody's birthday. I'm going to circulate a work anniversary card. That's very important too. But the praise program is sort of smaller in scope, right? We're not doing something as significant, but we're doing it on a regular basis. And there's something about that regular feedback that people receive that really seems to have a huge benefit in terms of employee morale and productivity. There are a couple of caveats I want you to keep in mind. First of all, you don't have to do the same thing for every team. So if you have a number of different teams and you think different things will make different people tick, totally fine. You do not have to do the same thing for everyone. So keep that in mind. Second of all, you don't want to do something better for your favorite employee when there could be some discrimination issue there, right? You want to make sure that you don't have favorite employees. Now, listen, we all have favorite employees, okay? That's how it is. But you've got to, at a base level, you've got to love them all equally, right? So that you can make sure that you're not favoring, you're not making it harder for someone to succeed because of your bias or your prejudice, okay? So this takes a little bit of effort, not much though. You just got to think through, what are you going to do? How are you going to do it? And you should apply the same thing to everybody on the team. Now, if somebody likes coffee and somebody likes tea, of course you get coffee for one and tea for the other. But you don't give one a fancy lunch out and the other a Lunchable from Oscar Mayer, right? That's what we're talking about. So when you get back to the office, like I said, or maybe you're on the Peloton right now, you're waiting for a webinar to start, whatever it is, jot down some ideas right now. Just take a minute, or when you get to the office, take a minute. I don't want you doing it while you're driving. And really think about, what can I do? Praise being different than employee recognition, right? It's that repetitive nature of the praise program that we are finding is so instrumental in bringing about the cultural changes that you may be looking for. So get creative. Remember, you don't have to spend a lot of money, but just do it. All right. Everyone, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. We love that you participate in the podcast. If you have ideas for us or suggestions, we always are open. Remember, we have a bunch of new public sector trainings coming up on a number of topics, including California's mandatory sick leave, artificial intelligence, all sorts of things. So make sure you're looking at our public seminar schedule on the website. Please join us next time and keep the comments and suggestions coming. We love them. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to spread the word, please share it with others, post about it on social media, and/or rate and review it. Of course, you can also follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter, and email us at info@shawlawgroup.com.
Workplace Wake Up, including its guests and hosts, do not provide legal advice in this podcast. Do not act upon any of the information discussed in this podcast without consulting a licensed attorney in your jurisdiction.